Disclaimer, there will be very tame drama discussed in this video. Its purpose is to give context and a bit of flair for the story, nothing more. The game sports a small community, so it'll be very easy to figure out who people are. Please do not contact anyone mentioned with the intent of being negative. Thank you. Hello and hey, today I'll tell you a story of accusations and annihilations, suspicions and redemption. But actually not any of that. I just got super duper petty after a minor mixing of words. So why are we here today? I was accused of cheating, so I took every single Aragami 2 world record. We're putting air quotes on that. First, some context, and I'll pull us all the way out. Aragami 2 is an action stealth game that released in September 2021 by Spanish developer Linthworks. As your beautiful mind has probably deduced, the 2 in the name isn't just for decoration. It's the sequel to Aragami, released in October of 2016, a game I very much adored. So Aragami 2 comes out and the gameplay is quite different, but still enjoyable, and lends itself quite readily for speedrunning, an activity that I hadn't really participated in the better part of a decade. So a few of us began posting times in the official Discord server's media channel, and that's where it began. Less than a week into the game's release, and my time presented in the form of end game screenshot is already being called quote-unquote cap. So I chuckled to myself, and I quickly produced a video of me getting said time, like really quickly, like have a link ready in 15 minutes. So as is typical, the accuser apologized profusely, and then we went and we grabbed a pint and laughed the whole thing off. Either that or they deflected and said, it doesn't matter anyway. You know, I always get stuff like that confused, but it was definitely one of those two. This inspired me to join the dedicated speedrunning server that popped up like a day or two prior, and it was fun, for months even. Met some cool people, went back and forth with probably the best player to ever touch the game before an update killed his will to keep on. You know, just trading screenshots and the occasional video. It was a fun hobby. And that's where we get to the weirdness. I never claimed any record, nor attempted to get on the speedrun.com leaderboard, so despite having my screenshots of a lot of these best times, it just kind of looked weird. People had asked pretty consistently, like, why don't you post more videos, why don't you submit runs? And my answer had always been the same. Before we dig into it, I am fully aware that people can fake screenshots or do other nefarious things to cheat. I didn't know that co-op screenshots and solo screenshots actually look exactly the same until I had a bank of like 40 of them, making them even more worthless as proof on levels that can be done faster with 2 or 3 players, you know, so almost all of them. Also worth noting, like I said, I did have video of about 20 to 25% of the levels, and when people had asked for how I did something with a possible hint or tone of, you know, seeing if I was full of crap, I had provided video of that as well. You know, the more recent the video, the better I played, so it really tracked. There's really nothing to make you think I was doing anything wacky, just not trying to get credit for my runs. But to continue with my answer, I'll read out the most recent time that I answered it. This is going to be in a post. At first, it was because it felt silly going through the trouble of recording and posting for something we were just going to destroy anyway, but when time started to settle down a bit, I just found myself having less fun when I would try to get a run on video. Plus, game runs smoother when not recording, and I value that greatly. And many other times, I said I would be more than happy to help people if they want to know something, just ask me. This apparently was not good enough. About a day after this, I'm tagged with a message that I remind the person that's about to go on a witch hunt about me of the guy from that super famous faked Super Mario Bros. Speedrun. Nice. A several hour long libelous back and forth later, which can be fact checked, where I am called a liar, cheater, told I'm not good enough to challenge for serious world records, and that my bragging when posting my screenshots meant that I should be kicked because bragging has no place in speedrunning. I'll go ahead and show you a few examples of my typical posts. They're not even cherry-picked. Most of my screenshots didn't even have text with them, so that end part was just nice little cherry on top. Anyway, enough of the drama. I refute all the claims, provide specific proof of a level less than a half hour after it was asked for. Several hours later, the only mod interaction we have is posting times is not bragging, and everyone has been doing it since day one. The accuser then starts to backpedal, deflect, and makes every excuse in the book, such as it was a joke, I was drunk. It ends in a weak apology, and the whole server has been dark since. It's been days, so not sure what's happening. But, you know, apologies for how long this is taking. Just wanted people to know where the context is coming from. It's not that bad, but I also had some extra motivation. I'm not trying to pull at heartstrings or grab sympathy points, just finishing up the context by bringing the mood to a screeching, abrupt halt. My father died a few weeks ago, and profound sadness has left me wanting to crush something. And what can I crush without actually hurting anything or anyone? Times. So that's exactly what I did. In the playlist linked to this video, in all the ways that you can do that, you'll find every mission of Aragami 2 with a video of the world record IL. Every single one. The thing is, I technically already held them, just needed to get them on video to prove it, I guess. In doing so, I lowered several of them even further, so what started as just having fun, playing around this new fun game, turned into this more focused attempt to try to get as many levels to sub 1 minute as possible, and now finishes with me wiping the leaderboard from people that said I wasn't good enough to do it. Of the 51 levels, 11 are tied. Most of these are pressed to their limit and tied with the best player to ever do it. Others just have a hard limiter like text that has to play out, lessening the skill gap required. The other 40 I honestly annihilated. Of the 39 that previously had times, one didn't. I lowered the records by a total of 360 seconds. 6 full minutes, which averages out to just over 9 seconds per mission. And I'll remind you, these are ILs, individual levels. I won't hold this status forever. Some of the times are actually quite weak. New glitches will be found or introduced, and the game is just kind of vastly underexplored in that area. I don't think there are any sequence breaks for like any percent. But while I had the motivating factors and the time to pull it off, I became the stepdad of the Origami 2 speedrunning community. They apparently hate me, but they will respect me, and I think we've made sure of that. Thanks for tagging along. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be safe, guys.